Been a busy couple weeks around here. We had the Whoapocalypse show a bit over a week ago now. I'd really like to thank everybody that came out to that. It was a total blast. Everybody had a great time. Blank TV posted the Miserables Bottoms Up video last week, and album sales for Every Last Stitch go on sale everywhere tomorrow. So quite a bit going on in the Miserables camp right now. I've been pretty taken aback by the response to the album so far. This has definitely garnered the most attention of any of my own material to date. You could still grab the album for free on Bandcamp. You'll always be able to. The links are all over the web. If you're an iTunes user, an Amazon user, though, tomorrow, Tuesday, July 23rd, you'll be able to get it at any of the online retailers. You can also start ordering CDs now. CD Baby should be carrying those soon as well. I'm putting this episode up today, and then I'm going to set things on a every other week schedule for the next couple of months with everything going on. I've got some personal stuff going on, too. The album, the label, all this stuff, need to do some work in that area. I'm hoping around Riot Fest to have a good stock of episodes recorded, though, and at that point, hopefully, I can get back to a weekly release schedule, so that should be sometime around, let's say, halfway through December. The last couple of weeks, there's been some weird stuff going on around the world. The one thing I want to talk about today, the whole Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin trial that just went haywire. He goes free, and a woman in Florida who used a gun to scare off her abusive ex is sentenced to 20 years in prison for firing warning shots. I mean, it's just baffling to me how this law works in Florida, how people are interpreting it. But of course, the woman was black, so she got the heavy hand. And, among this whole mess and in kind of response to it, Obama makes this speech the other day that I listened to, and I thought it was really pointed, and I wanted to say something about it. Any white kid who grew up where I did in the Detroit metro area grew up in a culture that was fearful of black people. A lot of people try and say it was because of the riots in the 60s, but the fact is those riots happened because racism was already rampant in the culture. At the time of the riots, I think that the racism was more open. Black people were openly discriminated against, not allowed to live in certain neighborhoods and all that terrible stuff. But after the riots, it changed. It became a tacit racism, which I think is in some ways more deeply troubling and definitely much harder to overcome because it's not a bunch of bigots who just want to open their mouth that act upon it. It's everyday, normal people who, like me, don't consider themselves racist, but the fact is, in some ways, we are. I think that's what Obama was trying to get at in his speech, and it took me far too long to see it in myself. I know I've had this conversation with friends in the past. I don't think I really had a good grasp on what it was until I moved to Chicago. The whole locking doors, crossing streets, all the things that Obama mentioned, I saw that countless times in Detroit from everyone around me growing up. And it's sad for me to admit, but I did those things as well. Since I've lived in Chicago, a lot of that has gone away. I mean, this city is still fairly segregated, but it would be nearly impossible to live in this city if you were acting like that every day. You'd constantly be dealing with this completely irrational fear 24 hours a day. So I think that environment has definitely helped guide me in a better direction. Because I'm more directly exposed to other races and cultures on a daily basis than I ever was living in Detroit. Detroit is extremely segregated. I grew up in Livonia, Michigan, which is one of the whitest cities in America, over 100,000 people, and it's 15 minutes, if that, from the border of Detroit, which is the blackest city in America. But we were in different cities. I mean, there weren't a lot of black kids in my school. There were, a handful, to say the least, out of over 2,000 kids in my high school. Those stereotypes, they were ingrained into everyday life in Detroit when I was growing up. And, whether it be friends or family or teachers or whoever, it was there. And it when I look back, it seems pathological. Like, we didn't mean to do it, but we were doing it. Everybody was doing it, and you were learning it because you weren't learning it by someone teaching it to you. You were just learning it the way you learn a lot of things, which is just by example, by what you see going on around you. And that, I think, is much harder to overcome. I'm about halfway through Charlie LaDuff's book, the Detroit An American Autopsy book. And he talks about this, I think, more eloquently than I'll ever be able to. But, about how people from his and my generation that grew up in Detroit, what it was like growing up there and what you became ingrained with as a result. So I just wanted to, kind of open that up. I think that it's really important that we talk about this. I mean, a lot of, the concerts that I went to when I was younger and a lot of the whole ska movement, there was, a heavy, anti-racism theme there. And I do believe in that, but I believe that, what Obama was talking about, this more tacit type of racism, is something that we need to address as well. And I don't think that's what was being addressed at those concerts. At those concerts, it was a lot about, like, fuck the KKK and all this kind of stuff, the blatantly open racism. We need to start talking more about the everyday little stuff, the stuff that, we don't talk about, or that doesn't even necessarily involve any kind of speech, right? It's just things that you do every day. So, okay, lighten it up. Today I have the Wanton Looks on. I put out the vinyl edition of their debut album on Whoa Records. They've been touring pretty extensively since, and they're now working on recording new material. I'm really excited to hear their next effort. Let's get to the conversation. So I start all these usually asking where everyone started playing music. So I think we're going to have to go like one at a time with everybody here, if that makes sense. So I don't know who wants to go first, but...
Tracy. Go ahead. I'll go first. I started playing music when I was, like 6 or 7 years old. I had piano lessons. I had a piano teacher who had really bad breath, and I used to put mints out for him. I hated music theory. I did everything to avoid learning it, and because I played by ear, so I learned how to play like Beethoven and like Flight of the Bumblebee all by ear and just watching my teacher's fingers. So that kind of set a precedent for my lazy theoriness. Because I played clarinet after that. In junior high, I was in band, and I basically faked my way into reading sheet music enough to get out of it. Up until the time when I was like 16, I got a drum set, and I played drums for 6 months, and I was kind of a crappy drummer, and it just wasn't really feeling right for me. So I kind of missed a melodic instrument, but I liked rhythm, so I bought bass guitar, and I traded in my drums for bass guitar and an amp. And I've been playing bass ever since.
And what was the first band that you played in? When was that?
The first band that I played in was in college. I was in a band called The Brother Egg, which was an indie rock band. and it's pretty like melodic pop stuff. But I was more of a backup singer, bass player. I wasn't really as much of a songwriter in that band.
Okay, when did you start songwriting?
In that band, toward later down the road, I started writing songs, and my direction that I wanted to go in was different than the direction that my bandmates were in. So I left that band, and I was living in Portland, Oregon after college, and then I joined a band called AdX, which was pretty cool. We had 2 bass players, 2 drummers. One of the drummers had a metal kit and guitar, keyboards, and
Like a kit made of metal?
Yeah, like Kurt, the drummer in that band, he was a welder, and he welded just crazy pieces together. It was a totally non-traditional kit that Meg would probably appreciate.
I met a drum welder 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, hot.
So
Then I moved to Chicago, and I started this band called The Shame with my friend Mikkel, who I went to high school with. And that band was around for, a couple of years. Then that disbanded, and I started Paper Bullets, which is a 3-piece. And that I found through an ad in New City, because I was dating somebody at the time who I wanted to start a band with, and he was like, if you could find a guitar player that has a practice bass with a drum kit, then I'll play drums. And I did, but we didn't end up, keeping him as the drummer. But then that band lasted for, 4 years, something like that, 3 or 4 years. And then that disbanded, and then I started Wanton Looks. With Meg.
So you and Meg were the first 2 for Wanton Looks?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We wanted Inga to be in it from the beginning. I mean, I always wanted to play with Inga. Inga and I tried playing together, but we actually all played together separately at different times, doing like different kinds of material. But it wasn't until Inga suddenly became available, because she had one less band that she was in. So I was like, hey, you want to play with us? Try it out with the 3 of us. And it was magical.
All right. So, Meg, let's go with you next, because we'll get into all the Wanton Looks stuff in a bit. You got a long history, I feel like.
That was a really fucking long history, by the way. That was like really long-winded.
I'm going to try to wrap mine up a little quickly. Than that.
If that's possible.
I started, similarly, I took piano lessons early on, and then once I got into school, I started in the 5th grade music program and kind of stayed in
Same
that.
thing I did.
And then just played in all the school bands and stuff throughout.
What did you play in 5th grade?
Drums.
Percussion?
Yeah, percussion, yeah. And then, then went to college, majored in music, and studied classically.
Where'd you go to college?
Millikan University in Decatur. Okay. And then, I played in bands while I was in college outside of the university, as well as obviously playing in ensembles and orchestra and stuff like that there. And then moved to the Chicago area and started playing in bands after that.
Where are you originally from?
A small town that's about halfway between Champaign and Bloomington, Illinois.
Okay. All right. That was definitely shorter.
Do you want me to do mine again? No. I can sum it up in like
edit
1
the boring
minute.
shit out.
All right, Inga, your turn.
Well, the year was 1970.
No, it wasn't.
I was in the heart of San Francisco music scene, the Haight-Ashbury. No. Started playing cello when I was 5 or 6. Played that. Still play that now, but when I was like 13 or 14, finally convinced my parents to get me a guitar. Took lessons for a few years. I could never find anyone to play with. Nobody wanted to play punk rock with me at my conservative Jesuit high school. But I finally found one Irish rock band at my high school called the Closet Squatters. The worst name ever. And I played in that band through college. Also in college, played cello in a band called Kyle Man Combo. Quit that band, and then Tracy invited me to come jam with her and Meg, and the rest is history.
Got
And
it.
I've also always written my own tunes, acoustic-y,
So,
folk country tunes.
do you write for Wanton Looks too?
That's a difficult question to answer. I'd say Tracy writes like the backbone of the song, and then I come in and like put the muscles in and whatnot. Actually, no, Meg's more the muscles. I'm like the spider veins or something.
We rearrange things together.
Yeah, we kind of like. It's like a Ramones song that then turns into, I don't know what it turns into, something slightly different.
But you help with arrangements and the actual
Yeah.
guitar parts and.
I think Meg and I are more the arrangers and ornamenters. Tracy's the, I don't know.
Okay.
It's collaborative, but
Yeah.
Got it. So no, this is cool. I mean, it's been a sausage fest on this thing so far. So interestingly
I did
enough,
notice it smelled like penis in here.
this room has a lot of dudes in it. There's only one girl that's regularly in this room. So
Surprisingly clean.
Adam
It is.
forces us to keep it clean. He's like the
No, today we're
overseer of the space.
Today you
It's
guys were like, oh shit, girls are going to be in here. We gotta clean it up.
No. Although, well, I did clean up a little bit before you guys got here. So you guys all started on other instruments, which I think is really cool. I mean, I started on violin, if you guys don't know that. So I played violin when I was a little kid. My dad played guitar, but I didn't really start playing guitar seriously until I was like in high school too. Like that's when I started playing guitar. So, you know, once you guys got the Wanton Looks together, the first album you guys did, right, the self-titled one, you guys recorded at Electric Audio. So can you explain to me, like, what that whole experience was like, doing a band like this, all-girl rock band, poppy punk, recording at Electric Audio?
It was a cool room.
I've never been over there, so I'm kind of interested to hear what it was
We were
like
in
over
Studio B,
there. Okay.
Studio A.
There's 3 or 2?
There's 2.
2.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Studio A is like where Steve Albini works out of mostly. It's like got a really nice cushy bunch of couches like in the control room and like nice ISO booth rooms. The room that we were in had like ginormous ceilings and like this like Nightmare Before Christmas staircase or and the control room just had like a couple little places to sit, but it's basically recording in like a cavern. It felt like.
And how long did it take you guys to finish the whole album?
Well, we
With
had
the
2
tracking.
days there.
Yeah, we tracked everything in 2 days there. But then we did overdubs
For 10 years after that.
forever and editing and whatever. You know, we've really milked our time with that album.
Where did you do the other tracking?
With Nick Kreska. Do you know him?
No.
He's a drummer in a band called Post Honeymoon.
Okay.
And so he's got a studio out of his house on the second floor.
Okay.
So we did the tracking there. But then we didn't mix with him. We ended up mixing with Garrett Hammond, who like recorded and mixed a bunch of Moto stuff. And I really wanted to work with him for the mixing because I liked what I'd heard. And that was it took a while because he lives in Downers Grove. And like we're only available to all get together like so many days a month because everyone's got a lot going on for at least at that time. And we were a 4-piece, so it was one extra person's schedule to contend to.
And then you guys went on tour pretty quick after you got the album done, right? So you guys have been fairly regularly on the road from what I've recalled.
We've done 3 bouts, I think, since the album. Did we go on the road like 3 times?
At least 3 or 4,
Yeah,
like
3 or 4.
Smaller tours.
So what are some all-girl band tour stories?
Bloody van. No.
I'll let Inga answer this one. Something about hotels, really sleazy. motels. And,
Well, that's not
and
too much
couches
different.
and-
Well, we usually, that's no different from
Titties?
dude bands. Except every morning I wake up to Tracy's tits, like, jiggling in my face, but there's no children listening to this, right?
They're not that. They're not really in her face. Like I'd be standing like 5 feet away from her.
Yeah,
just
but they're
walk around the
huge.
room and like nothing. So
And they're huge, so... I don't know. We're probably pretty boring as far as...
I don't think
Like,
we're really
bands.
all that different than any
Yeah.
other band.
Yeah.
You know? We just have.
You guys don't like stick each other in weird places when one of you passes out drunk or anything like that.
Well, I
I'm
do
usually
stuff
that
to Tracy.
guy.
I do mess with Tracy when she passes out. And
Inga does the nighttime driving because she doesn't drink, and I get wasted. Like I'll do daytime driving, get to the gig, and then like as soon as we're done playing, I'm like on a mission to have fun, even more fun than I'm already
Forget.
having. So there have been some nights where I vomited, and I had to be put in the car and locked in the seat, and
there was one night where she was peeing and puking, like, simultaneously.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Like, half squatting against a wall, like, projectile.
That was pretty good.
Where was this
But
at?
that's totally normal, right?
That's in Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio. Where else? Like,
The Boneyard,
yeah, that was awesome.
which is a house that they have shows at, like a disgusting punk rock house.
Those are the best, dude. I love those.
And they
They had like the
You guys are
sweetest
just like,
backyard.
no.
I loved it.
It was fun. They just kept feeding Tracy whiskey.
Like really shitty whiskey.
Like, basically,
It started the
Poison.
minute we like got out of the van to try to figure out where we were going to load in. This guy came up and he was just like offered to share some of his drink with me, and I was like, I like Columbus.
that was the show where I couldn't even use my pedal board because the ground was so disgusting that I was like afraid to use my gear. Like I was like, I'm just gonna plug directly into my amp.
I miss those houses, dude. I haven't played one of those in a long time. The good old
That was
punk
fun.
rock house. What are the other favorite places you guys have done on the road? Not that was a favorite place, but
Dude,
obviously memorable.
Rocklahoma.
St. Louis at the Firebird. That was pretty awesome. I love that venue.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Played with our friend Soma, who just came here to Chicago and played with us at Cobra. So that was pretty cool. South by Southwest was pretty cool.
Did you guys do that this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you guys play down there?
What was the name of the place?
Like wasn't it like a number? It was a number.
Yeah, it was a number bar
Something.
on 6th Street. Is that the main
Yeah.
street? It was like, yeah, I felt like we had 5 minutes to play. Like they were like, and go. And then,
Yeah.
and then they were like, okay, get off the stage. And we were like,
It was
oh,
to the
we're-
clock.
we're
There's
done.
somebody.
Yeah,
with
well,
a-
they gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember they had everything backlined. Like the drums were backlined, except.
So you didn't get to play your own kit?
No, but
Yeah.
and that was fine. But they failed to mention that they didn't have a drum throne. So I played on a it wasn't even a fold. It was a folding chair, sort of. But the guy before me, I'm like, oh, so there's no throne. He's like, no, I didn't know either. And he's like, just don't move too far to the back. Just don't move around a lot because you'll fall off. It'll break.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, great. So I'm sitting ultra low behind this kit, and I'm on this rickety-ass chair, But the show was still good.
Yeah.
But
Well, you gotta tough it out, I guess, if you're gonna do South by Southwest. So it seems to be all you hear about down there is like there's always a horror story about something at every show.
Yeah.
That I hear about. So
I like the Melody Inn in Indianapolis, except
yeah,
like,
we just played there.
the way the stage is set up.
Off in the corner.
We set up our instruments wrong for the room or whatever. Like, remember we had the drums like
I was in like the hole in the back.
in like some kind of a hole or pocket or something.
Yeah.
The next band, like they were like, "Oh, we play her a lot. You have to set up like that the drums here in order for it to sound good,"
Yeah.
which was like further out in the room.
Yeah, we just played there. It was a couple of months ago, and all I remember was, well, I don't remember a lot, but stage was way back in the corner. That's what I
Yeah.
remember.
And
And
it's
so
like
it's a
long,
weird
long
angle.
and skinny. Like the least logical stage ever created.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. We definitely had the drum set up in some weird kind of position that night. I just remember Indy was a lot more grungy than I thought it would be. We actually had to like drive around Indy a little bit to pick up our bass player's friend, and it was sketchy.
Interesting sightseeing.
Yeah, she lived like in the ghetto. Like I was surprised she lived there. It was pretty bad. She was telling us like about the crack house across the street and all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa, where do you live? She's like, my rent is only $200 a month. And I'm like,
but there's a crack house across.
Yeah, I think like the Midwest is pretty awesome to play in for the most part. Like, you know, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois.
where have you guys
Indiana.
done in Michigan so far?
We did Detroit. We played like
Kalamazoo.
in Kalamazoo too at 311 Club. Mm-hmm. You been out there at all?
I haven't been there, but I know Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
And then where'd you play in Detroit?
Oh, God damn it. I'm so bad at remembering. It was something lounge. I want to say it was like the Starlight Lounge or what the fuck was it called? I'm so bad.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But yeah, we got invited to play back there.
Was it in the city?
It was in like, yeah, it was in the city, but it was in like some weird warehouse district kind of.
It was a cool place.
Yeah,
though.
it was a cool
I
club,
liked it.
though.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to look that up.
It had kind of like a 50s vibe. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Look at our past shows. No, wait, you can't. You got to get that feature going on the website. We should just have a website and construction thing. Just use Facebook for the time being.
That's all everybody uses now is Facebook, though, it seems like.
Yeah, but people are like getting sick of Facebook and
Northern Lights Lounge.
Northern Lights.
Oh,
Lounge.
Northern Lights, yeah.
See,
yeah.
I said Starlights. I was close.
Star Brights.
Yeah, that place is awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't actually been there yet, but I know a bunch of people who have played there.
It's really cool on the inside.
Yeah, we were just in Detroit over the weekend, so.
Nice.
Not in the
Oh
city,
yeah,
though.
wasn't that
We
like
played
Low
on-
Apocalypse?
Yeah.
How did that go?
We had fun, man. It was a really good time. It's just a bunch of old dudes playing punk rock, so you know, it was pretty funny because the club owner, like a couple days before, he like I don't know what happened. There was some miscommunication. We had said it was going to be an all ages show, and then like a couple days before, he's like, "Oh, dude, I forgot to tell you that if you do all ages, it's got to end by 10 o'clock." And we were like, "Well, we're not going to be done by 10 o'clock, dude. There's no way." And he's like, "Well, are you expecting any kids to show up?" And I'm like, "Dude, we're all like fucking 30 to 40. There's no way that many kids are showing up. Like, best is like somebody's kids in one of the bands are coming to the show. That's about as good as it gets." So,
That's why you got to.
So was there a preschool there? Or
no.
Okay,
Thankfully, I don't think a single person under the age of 18 was actually in that club. So it worked out all right. Everybody was happy. I twisted my ankle at the end of the night. It's all good.
Are you okay now?
Yeah, dude, I couldn't walk yesterday. I just at the end of the night, I was doing like the last check for stuff, and like I go to step up on the stage, and there's not any stairs to get on the stage. You just gotta step up, and it's like this high. And I took the step, and my foot slipped, went down, hit the ground, and just
Twisted.
Drinking
rolled
had
right
nothing
under.
to do with that, right?
Nothing. So, where you guys are recording right now?
That's right.
Full album, EP. What are you guys doing?
We're gonna do an EP. We're gonna do a 7-inch actually. That's
Okay.
our plan.
How many songs?
4.
4.
2 on each side. We're actually recording at my house, which is really awesome.
Awesome.
John Herman is recording us and doing an excellent job.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, I like doing this here. This is as good as it gets to a house for me.
Well,
So,
I have to say, not worrying about, the clock and money and
Yeah.
stuff, and like living in a cool house with your boyfriend who's an audio engineer, teaching me stuff. I'm learning how to use Studio now. Like, it took a while to get it set up, right?
yeah.
And this was actually our first trial run of recording a full band in our house, and like there weren't really any hiccups, thank God. Like
except for the neighbors.
except for my neighbors, yeah, they're
Pissed.
Are they complaining about the noise level?
Yeah, they complain about the drums, and why don't we put them in the basement? And I'm like, well, because my boyfriend's daughter lives with us every other week, and she lives in the basement. So, but we worked out an agreement with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They called the cops first, and our landlord, and we're kind of dicks. But then, like, after they banged on the door, I was like, hey, well, let's be neighborly and work this out. I would have came over and been like, hey, we're going to record some music during these hours, because he's like, why didn't you do that? I'm like, well, maybe because you called my landlord and the cops. So I was like, screw these guys. But it's fine now. So as long as we're done by a certain time, because they have like little kids. And...
Yeah, that's the one thing I like here is that we can go at least all night. But yeah, it's nice not having to worry about the clock when you're recording.
Yes.
So you can just kind of
and you can like come back to it. Like if I feel like doing vocal takes at like 2 a.m, or I feel like adding some overdubs of whatever, like, don't worry, I won't go crazy.
Yeah,
we're all like quiet during it. We're like, wait, what?
The endless time could be good or bad.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
a really good point. You do have to set limits on it. Like, you got to say, we're going to have it at least done by a certain time,
You can
set a
fiddle
goal.
forever with stuff.
Yeah. You can lose your mind doing it too. That's the problem. Because you'll always find something that you want to change or, especially when you're doing vocals, it's like you'll find that one note and you're like, oh, should we redo the take for one note? And you're like,
just punch it in.
No. No. Yeah, we did, the stuff that we just did, Adam did not ATR any of my vocals on it, which is very strange for him. He normally likes to do the really like clean programmed vocals. We just didn't do it this time. We just did all of it raw. We just did a bunch of takes and he kind of comped together what was good. And that was it. So that was interesting because that's the first album I've done like that, where it's just like straight, which is cool. Well, I should take that back. At least since I was 20 years old, maybe back when you didn't really have the resources to do something like that. So yeah, it was interesting, but it's a lot more aggravating because you have to hear, you hear more mistakes in there. Not necessarily mistakes, but you just hear things that are not as aligned,
Make the music more human. I mean,
I hope.
You can look at it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. But people are so used to hearing that now. I mean, every big album that's out there now, it's all triggered and everything is ATR'd. I mean, there's very few bands that don't do that anymore, if any. I can't think of any major label band that probably doesn't do that. But that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
So, Meg, you still do a lot of different work. You play in a bunch of different bands, and you also play in like all kinds of different genres I've seen.
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of stuff are you doing right now outside of Wanton Looks?
It's kind of, I mean, like you said, it's all over the place. There's a steel drum band that I play in. I play congas and timbales, more of a Latin percussion setup for that. And then I play in a band called Life After 6, which is more of a hard rock with kind of like math elements to it. And there's another one called the Hannah Frank Group, which is more of kind of like like organic indie Americana with some kind of like jazzy influences, I guess. I don't know. I could go on. No one really wants to hear about all of it, but yeah, it's all over the board. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you just kind of how do you end up with these projects, I guess, is my question. I mean, you do this full time, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you teach and all that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, I think, it's just from one thing to another. Like the band Birdie that I'm in, I went to college with one of the girls, and she's like, oh, I've got this, this folk group, and, would you have time to maybe play with us? And I was like, maybe, and it worked out, and so I'm playing with them, and it's just like one thing leads to another, and know somebody who needs some of whatever I do.
And so you got to learn how to play more than just a kit. You've got percussion skills all over the place. And do you do keyed percussion at all?
A little bit. I do play a little bit of steel drums, but and I studied classical in college, so I did that route. But I think my passion lies more in like the world percussion end of it.
Okay.
Congas, timbales, bongos, tabla, berimbau, that kind of stuff. So
Have you guys mixed any of that into the...
No.
Looks
It doesn't really fit with what we do.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Yeah, I think the part of it for me is like for what we're doing, it's more like raw and aggressive, and I might take elements of like a style and kind of like, take it and twist it into more of a rock groove, but maybe it's originally a merengue is what I'm pulling from or something.
Okay.
So stuff like that, but not really instrument-wise.
Okay. But you guys have talked about it and toyed with the idea. Is
Well,
this something where you got to convince each other to do something weird?
Well, it came up recently because, we're recording new songs right now, and, it could be cool to throw some extra overdubs of that kind of thing, maybe in certain sections of the
I
songs.
don't think anything really fits yet. I don't know.
Meg's just against it.
I am.
She's like, this is my rock band. This is the
It
drum
is.
set.
It is. Yeah.
Well, you got to pick your battles, I guess. Inga, do you still play cello?
I do.
And what do you do with cello right now?
Gets paid.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. I get that money. No.
Yeah.
I play really boring corporate gigs or weddings.
I did
Or
that
just-
racket back in the day.
Practice for fun. But
How
that's
many
pretty
weddings
rare.
have you played at this point in your life?
What's sad is it's almost always the same music
Oh,
for
yeah.
each one.
Yep.
You'd think I would have played like tons of music at this point, but I feel
Nope.
like I'm just always playing the same crap.
Canon and D every single
Yeah,
time.
pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I did that for 5 years after I graduated from, even when I was I guess I've been doing it since I was like late in high school, but like actually really getting paid.
Yeah.
I did that for 5 years. Went to way too many weddings, too many stressful situations.
Oh, it's like so stressful.
Oh my God, you get the mom of the bride who like is the over controlling one who just can't let go, and it's like the most stressful thing you can ever deal with.
It's
because
Bridezilla too. You get
oh,
those too.
dude,
I've
I never
certainly, had to deal with that on occasion.
I've only had, I think, one bride that was really bad. It was mostly the moms of the brides that were really like, if they needed it to be perfect. I mean, I remember one wedding we had outside, I swear, before we played, she moved us like 8 times.
Oh my God.
Like she was like, I want you here. And then like a minute later, she's like, this is all wrong. This is all wrong. You guys move. And she's like getting mad at us. Like not mad at us, but you know what I mean? She's like taking it out on us that it doesn't look perfect in her eyes.
Right.
Oh man. Dude, way too many.
And the
weddings.
party planners too. I've had like some of those party planners. It's like party plannerzilla. It's like,
man.
what is your problem?
Well, and they want you there like 3 hours early.
Yeah, well, no one can see you from the party. No one can see you. You set up and you need to disappear, and then like on your breaks, go down by the dumpsters where you load it in. We don't want to see you anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man.
It's going to ruin the vibe of the party if the musicians are seen off the stage.
Oh jeez. And then they want the same music every time. But a lot of them think it's the most unique thing in the world that they're doing.
Yeah, they're like, it's the most beautiful thing we've ever heard.
And they're so glad that they came up with the idea to have Canon and D played.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I played a wedding 2 days ago, and it's just not possible to have one that goes well. Like, it's just not possible.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
I thought everything was going well at this one, and then the violist that was playing with us kept like cutting me off before we were supposed to stop. So he kept being like, and stop. And I would stop, and then I'd look over and the violinist would be like, yeah.
Do you play with the same people regularly?
Yeah,
or no?
I play with the violinist that played 2 days ago, Katie Andrick. I play with her all the time. It's sort of like a rotating number of violists because nobody wants to play viola. And so this is someone that I had never played with before, and I was just like, "This is absurd. Why is he taking control of the situation? He doesn't know what's going on."
The viola player who wants to be in charge.
I was like, "What is this guy's deal?" And it was, like a Catholic mass, so he was singing the parts of the mass too, which I thought was really funny. Wow. I was like, "What?" Like he was like, "Oh, creatures of our God," and we're sitting there like. It's just really strange.
Yeah, the Catholic masses were always, those ones are tough, especially if they did the full mass.
Yeah,
Because then you sit a lot, you know? They'll have
Yeah.
you play like one little thing. And then the keyboard player will start playing and
well,
singing.
there was an organist
Yeah.
woman that had like a full-on mustache that was like 60 years old that
Nice.
just wanted to tell us like about weddings she had played in 1970, and it was just like, ugh. I was like, why am I doing this? It's so horrible.
Because you're getting paid.
I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And then I saw Reggie Watts, which is awesome.
really?
Do you know who Reggie
At a,
Watts is?
yeah, at a wedding.
No. Yeah, he was
like-
there beatboxing. No. At Fat Tire, whatever, Tour de Fat.
Okay.
In,
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you went to that?
yeah.
That was this
It
weekend.
was like in Logan Square.
Okay.
Is that Logan Square? No, Humboldt Park. I don't know. In
It
between
was
those
Palmer
two. Palmer
Square.
Square.
Okay.
Did you see Muka Paza too?
No, I like literally went straight from the wedding to see Reggie Watts. I'm like wearing like a power suit, sweating profusely, in, like 90-degree weather. It was still cool though.
I used to own a tux because we got asked to play we got asked to like wear tuxes at so many.
And now you
weddings that
never
we
ever
played.
have to wear a tux for anything.
Never again, dude. No.
Yeah.
No. I stopped that when I moved here, pretty much. So that was 2006.
But you have like a jacket. Like if you needed to wear like a nice jacket, you have one.
I have maybe one or two.
Interesting.
Yeah, most people that know me know I just don't dress up anymore. It doesn't happen.
Ingo's a traveling salesman too.
A traveling
true.
salesman? Well, you work for a string shop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're a traveling salesman for the string shop?
Yeah, I do have to travel.
Yeah. Where do you go? What is the traveling salesman for the string shop?
I have to travel around selling violins and violas and cellos at like different universities and camps, and also, I mean, we have a store in downtown Chicago.
Which store is it?
It's called Dixon Stein. It's in the Fine Arts Building.
Okay.
It's Michigan and Van
My
Buren.
violin it's right back there, the William Harris Lee.
Oh yeah,
Which is
they're
in there, too.
rivals, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Not cool. Uh-oh. Smash that violin.
There you go.
Who made it, or do you know who made it?
William Harris Lee. That's all it says inside. I know that's the shop it was made at.
Workshop instrument.
Yeah. Okay, so you're recording right now? Are you guys going on the road again anytime soon?
We've got some festival gigs coming up in August. We're having a pretty busy next month, starting with we've got a gig at 27 Live, August 2nd. We're playing at the Milwaukee Pavilion. I forget what it's called. It's basically like Millennium Park, but in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Chill on the Hill.
Yeah,
That's
Chill
what it's
on the
called.
Chill on the Hill.
Yeah. And we're playing with Ramalama, so that should be really cool. And then we got a gig playing in Skokie at their Backlot Bash. I don't know if you've ever been to that.
I've never been to that.
Yeah.
What is
It's
Backlot Bash?
it's
Is it just like a neighborhood
It's
party?
an outdoor festival.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't... I've never really done many of those in Chicago.
They have like pretty big bands playing at this one though. But who's the band that's playing after us?
Deal's Gone Bad, I
I think
think.
they're before us. There's a bigger band after us though. We're like oddly wedged between two popular bands. I guess it's prime real estate.
What day is that? Do you guys know?
I think it's the 24th?
24th, August 24th, yeah.
August 24th. Is that Saturday?
I need to have
or
my
Sunday?
calendar and my phone in my hand so I can look shit
You
up.
guys got to
that I
get it
forgot.
organized, man. Google Calendar.
Yeah. We have Google Calendar.
We try to use it. We're all terrible at it, too, though.
Yeah, it's August 24th, Saturday.
Yeah.
Keeping 4 people, well, you guys have 3, but still 3 people's schedules together is almost impossible these days.
We also are playing around the Coyote on September 7th.
What is that?
It's multiple, I guess, different venues are kind of like hosting stages, and we're at the Club Lucky stage.
Here in
It's
Chicago?
It's an art festival.
Yeah.
Club Lucky. Where is that?
It's on Wabansia.
Oh, it's right down the street from me. That's why I know. It's the Italian restaurant. They're having bands there.
Outside, they have a stage that's like in their parking lot. That's
No kidding.
Yeah, I just played there with another band over the weekend for another fest that they had. The Bucktown Garden Walk. I played there a couple days, a couple different bands. But.
Dude, that's an interesting place, man. I've eaten there a couple of times, but I've also like when I first moved into that neighborhood, because it's like late night food. They have the thing outside like late night and all this, and I walk in, and it's like 2 old dudes and me sitting at the bar.
They make a really good martini there.
Do they?
Yeah.
I just had
their dirty
beer.
Martinis are incredible.
The food was good. I like the food.
Yeah.
I think I've eaten there twice, and it was pretty decent. It's a little pricey, but
yeah,
I can't believe they have bands there. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I
right
think
down
it's
the
just
street.
for festivals. I don't think they have any live entertainment.
When is that one?
September 7th.
September 7th. Oh, I definitely have to walk down the street for that. You guys played at a VFW hall over there too, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a fest outside of that last
Where
summer.
is that? That's off Wabansia too, right?
I think it is off of Woodbands, yeah.
I'm trying to remember where that is. I haven't played a VFW hall gig in
Yeah,
so
that was
long.
Outdoor stage, yeah. Same as the one coming up on the 7th, too.
They actually have outdoor stages over there. That's crazy. Yeah.
But they're like miniature stages. They're pretty small. Pretty small.
Are they sturdy?
Actually, the VFW hall one was like not sturdy. It was
No.
falling over partially in the front.
Was it just like a riser thing, or what was it that they put out
They
there
were
for
just
you?
risers. But
Yeah.
I just remember. Oh, what was that other band? That played?
Rory Lake.
Yes, the monitor was just rolling off the front
no.
of the stage.
That was fun.
Monitor. Shows coming up. No tours planned though.
Not right now. We have to block some time out and
I'm finish the recording first.
finish the recording first, and then start pimping that.
You're just doing 7-inch, doing digital with it.
Oh yeah, it was 7-inch with a digital download.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard.
Are you guys gonna do Bandcamp and all that kind of stuff again?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. Somebody might be interested in putting it out. I'm not going to mention who they are, but they have really good distribution and stuff. So we'll see.
David Geffen.
No, not David Geffen. Somebody local in
I'm probably
Chicago.
gonna get sued now.
But
I have a feeling David Geffen is not listening to this podcast.
Yeah, but he's got someone listening.
I would say the other group I'm in, Hot Lips Messiah, which I failed to mention in my music history. Sorry, guys. But
I noticed that.
we just put out
They hate
a
him
split 7-inch with Tutu and the Pirates on Sexy Baby Records, and it's just 7-inch with digital download. Those things just flew off the merch table.
Awesome.
And I was just I want to do another 7-inch with Wanton Looks, because it's just, they're cheap and people pick them up more than 12 inches.
Yeah, and you sell them for what, $5, $6, something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, it's easier to offload that. There's no doubt about it, as I have learned many, many times at this point.
Yeah.
So, anything else you guys want to cover, talk about?
Well,
we kind of went through the
Inga
whole
has
spiel.
another project called The Howl. Maybe she should talk about that.
What's the Howl?
I could. It's a folky country group. I play acoustic guitar and sing lead vocals, and there's mandolin player
Nice. I started playing
Susie
mandolin.
that used to be in this band actually.
Okay.
And there's an upright bass player, James Jaffe.
Nice.
And actually, I recorded today. I finished all my guitar for our album, so.
That's cool, man. I dig that kind of stuff. I've been tinkering with the mandolin for the last year, which is interesting. It's the same tuning as violin, so I know how to do all this, but doing that while picking is awkward.
Yeah,
and then
it's still way easier to play than violin.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't have to worry about
Anything with
intonation
frets,
and all
yeah,
that
it's
kind of
so
stuff.
much
Yeah, it's
easier.
got frets on it, so it's easier in that regard. But it's also it's trickier because it's hard to actually make it sound good in context.
Well,
to
it's
me.
hard to do slur, like moving notes, I
Yeah.
guess, because you have to kind of.
There's
pick
no
everything
sustain
separately.
whatsoever.
Yeah,
There's
very
no
little
sustain. So
yeah.
it's like you got to keep moving, or else it
Yeah.
gets boring really quick.
Yeah.
Or you got to do like really choppy stuff, like really percussive type stuff with
Little
it. So
chugs.
yeah, I mean, we did a cover where I played it, and it was interesting to record it. It was a new experience for me, but I dig that kind of stuff. I'll have to check that out. What's it called again?
The Howl.
The Howl.
We're on Facebook.
But are you changing the name?
I don't know. There's another band called The Howl, but
They suck.
I don't really want to change the name, but I've been using the name for like 8 years or something, so I
Okay.
feel like they could suck it, and I'm not changing the fucking name.
I don't know, man. You know, you might get sued these days. Didn't some band just sue another band?
Well, then I'll change it to like Howell.
Yeah.
Like Howl.
Howell, Michigan. There's a town called Howell, Michigan. Just say it's named after that. Anything else? Everybody's so quiet.
It's been a long day.
No, but if anyone wants to like give us money, that would be cool.
I didn't think that's what was going to come out of your mouth.
That may be the best thing
Please
anybody's
give us
said so
money.
far. If
Please.
somebody wants to give us money, that would be really cool.
If someone wants to give us money,
Is there like a rich investor out there? There's somebody listening to this that just has like, you know, they're a millionaire, or they've got hundreds of thousands of dollars or something, and they're looking for a pet project.
this is what you get. You can rub Tracy's feet. You'll get a signed album and a drum lesson, and I will give nothing.
Wow, that's
an awesome deal.
I think the only thing that appealed
We
to
just
the
need $1
creepy
million.
$100,000 investor was the rubbing of feet, because that would probably get some weirdo in there.
Yeah, probably.
Although John just sent me a link for some place that a friend of his that like presses like vinyl masters and whatever, and it's super cheap. We'll talk to you about it after this. It was like with packaging and everything, it like end up being like, you know, like $1 a record or something like that.
That's awesome. It's tough with vinyl right now, man.
Yeah.
The delay on, if you want to get a 12-inch made now, it's like 4 months at most places.
Really?
It's crazy, yeah. For our stuff, we were looking into it. And like, we're actually, one of the brokers that I work with now has some place in like Uruguay or somewhere that presses vinyl now, where he's like, it's foreign, but you can get it for way cheaper and way faster still, which I thought was weird because I've never done anything outside of the U.S. So it's tough right now, though, man. Yeah, we got quoted a 4-month turnaround time on our stuff when we got
That's
our first
crazy.
quote. And I was like, wow, dude. It's like half
I
a
think
year
that
after we
was
record
a-
the record, we'll
Right.
finally get it back. Like, okay.
right.
For ours, what was it, like 2 months?
Yeah, it was 2 months. That's when it was still running okay, but it got bad quick. Like, I had my buddy Justin on from Underground Communique, and he said the same thing. Like, he said releases now take 4 or 5 months to turn around just out of nowhere. Everybody's just really packed up. So
Oh, well, vinyl's in
vinyl
style.
is back. Yeah,
Vinyl's
vinyl's in
booming.
style. So is what it is, I guess. All right. Well, we're at the 45-minute mark, which is perfect.
All right.
Excellent. Well, thanks
So,
for having us.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having us. Check us out online. Just Google the Wanton Looks.
Or Bing.
Or go to if you
I
Google
want
the
you to
Wanton Looks,
Bing the Wanton
you'll
Looks.
find one of the many several websites we have, including MySpace, which I haven't
There
looked
you
at
go.
in forever and a
gonna-
day.
I was
It's
gonna
not your
say-
space, it's ours.
It's the new MySpace. Now that it's the new MySpace, maybe we should go back to it. And
God. I think you cornered the market with the Bing thing. You should get some of that Microsoft
Bing
money.
is- Bing
Just
is
be
the-
like, I want you guys to Bing our band. Don't Google it. Bing
Except
it.
Bing is the worst search engine ever. It's like the most frustrating.
Not according to those
useless.
commercials.
But have you ever?
it's not
That
bad
are
for
so real.
pornography.
It is bad. It's like.
Have
For
you
some
tried
reason,
looking up
mine does
porn?
that automatically. No, I haven't looked up porn on Bing yet.
Bing's great for porn.
No, there should be a separate Bing porn site called Boing.
Hey.
We also have a website, www.wantonlooks.com. So we have links to all of our social media. You can go there too.
That is
And
true.
you should buy our record from Whoa Records. Joe, plug it.
Yep.
It'll all get linked to. All right, cool, guys. Thanks a lot for coming in.